Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Today is Friday, so yes, Friday thoughts. Last week I was reporting from Omaha, and I did my Friday thoughts on Saturday because of the con and everything. This week, yes, I had to derpy, got my shirt ready to promote good old Anime NJ. Did a good old table swap there. Got my Ultraman promoting Sakamoto and him being there. So it should be a fun time. Just really want to just promote, no selling there. So that'll be happening later today. The other thing too is, yeah, let's continue with Friday thoughts. I did wind up where I did not. I was not able to finish the video simply because the camera ran out of space. The phone, I should say, ran out of space. So it did have, yes, an abrupt ending. A couple people noticed that. So where I left off last week on those Friday thoughts and Indie Dead and all that kind of stuff is that basically I was saying that, guys, the occasional like the Terrifier or something like that that kind of bursts out and people say, wow, look, it means it's real. To me, independent is got to be a company. It's got to be someone who's producing, releasing. Even if you're not producing, you're doing licensing, whatever it is, on a consistent basis, you can make a living out of it. You could do it. The guys on the weekend, who make something and then something hits, I'm really happy for them. I think that's wonderful. The thing is, though, does that mean you're going to be able to make a living? No, I don't make a living out of bodybuilding or lifting weights, but I do it. So that's fun and that's fine. And if it gets you noticed and if you're good enough at it, just like any hobby, you might be able to make a few bucks at it and then eventually someone will pay you to do it. So it's a good resume type thing. So that's a thing. But back to the indie and and then also back to anime. So now, to me, what's going to happen in this industry, right? And how will the indie survive? Here are my predictions, and here are my statements about the future. Okay, so basically, I think what's going to happen is kind of like the car industry in the day, because history always repeats itself. Humans have a tendency to kind of do the same thing over and over, just maybe with bigger toys or more expensive ones, but the human mind and the way people act are always the same. We haven't really changed that much from our caveman days. We have, but not in a big way, as you can see by some of the stuff going on in the world. But as far as that goes, what's going to happen is there'll be consolidation. Back in the day, there was a ton of cars companies, right? So you had Buick, you had Chrysler, you had this and that. And eventually, as time went on, they kept consolidating and they went under GM and all that. And all you had left basically was GM. You had Chrysler. Were kind of the two companies that survived all the changes and all the craziness in the industry. Now, as far as the internet industry goes, I think it's going to be exactly the same. What's going to happen is you'll have maybe 2 or 3 players left in the end. And that is actually, you may say, well, God, John, how will the indie survive? That's actually good. Right now, the model that they have, which is terrible, and nobody really makes any money at it, to make productions. Again, separating out the weekend warriors, separating what I call the talking heads also. That's me right now, right here. We're just a talking head. I'm talking to your phone. I'm talking to you. Everybody wants to be Joe Rogan, but, there's one Joe Rogan, and you have a few other guys like the Ben Shapiro's or this and that who make, a living out of doing this and just talking to the phone or talking to their mic. And, and basically everyone listens, I like, not like, blah, 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 blah. So this is the thing. Joe Rogan's better than that, by the way. The whole thing is that as far as everything goes here, once we get rid of these smaller players, because of the model just doesn't work. Getting paid transactional, getting paid by ads, getting paid by that is just not really doing anything. So what's going to happen is you'll have a few guys left, who I predict Disney will be, of course, around. Kids, there are always going to be little children around, and parents feel Disney is the place to go. So you're going to have Disney do that. I think Disney will be one of the players left. And the other one left will be Netflix and Amazon. Amazon, not so much because of they're really making a lot of money at it or doing it. It's again because of the Prime. The only thing with the Amazon thing is that if Amazon winds up where they figure out that they're really not making money at this, which, a lot of like financial guys are trying to tell them, like, listen, all that's making money is your cloud service. You're really not making that much money on the other stuff. Maybe you guys should start consolidating. They may do that, may start getting rid of stuff, but right now I think Amazon Prime will be around for a while. Then the other one will be Netflix. Netflix is going to be the biggest, I think, left in the end. And what's going to happen is those three guys, I think, will dominate. All the other players, Hulu, all these other ones, I don't want to mention names because people will get pissed off, but I even see numbers from these guys. It's ridiculous. There's no need for them to even be in business. There's really just, based upon the views we're getting, even if you have more popular stuff, it doesn't make any difference. Now, John, how about anime? We have Crunchyroll. Yes, Crunchyroll has become the winner in the marketplace, and I think that's not going to change. But what's going to happen is anime, and here's my other bold thing to say, is a niche. I'm sorry, guys. It's a really huge niche, but it's still a niche. And the thing is, it's just, another category. And can that category survive on its own without support from others with this type of model right now we have in place? No, I don't think so. The way they make the productions and all that, it is unique in that the Japanese do wind up where they're getting financing through mostly their own country and through other areas like internationally. But I still think, no, Crunchyroll will not be basically on its own for that much longer, for a while. But I do think they'll be bought by someone. I don't think Sony is huge, but Sony will take a while before they decide it. And just like their PlayStation, they had, videos on there and stuff, and that all went away. Crunchyroll, I guess, is their big effort to say, listen, we're our anime in the United States. But I do think eventually it'll get sold for a nice dollar to someone like a Netflix or maybe even a Disney, as long as they stay away from the risque stuff and all that. Which brings up the risque stuff. John, how about the crazy stuff? How about the whatever? The truth is most of that stuff right now is considered okay. Back in the day, a show bloody as Berserk or as crazy as some of these shows would be considered too crazy. Now, Disney may have other categories of stuff that they'll try to do it, or Netflix or whatever. But basically, that's really it. You're just going to have that. There'll be that. Now, but what does that mean for the crazier stuff and what? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I do think that there is some market in Japan for it. These are going to be mostly, doujinshi guys or weekend guys making stuff. As far as making content continuously, not really. I know a few publishers I already know said they're stopping productions on the more adult stuff, so I don't know, but there are guys replacing them who are coming out with a title here, a title there. Again, is it a business or is it more of a hobby that they're selling stuff and making some money? I don't know. The stuff like that will kind of just continue to be niche, and maybe a company like us will license some of that stuff, or another company will. And there is use in all the huge back catalog, but there's not a lot of money in that to make a real business out of it. So what's going to happen is that these kind of guys will kind of, eventually it will fade away, and because if you're not getting paid enough, it's just a hobby, and then it'll be something maybe get done here and there. And if something you produce gets popular enough, it becomes something. So then, all right, John, what do these little companies do, like Media Blasters or whatever? Well, we will continue to do the more niche stuff, the more whatever, until we can't. The other thing too is we have to change. We've been trying to change for a long time. With Fever Dreams, we started doing our own productions, our own stuff, but that didn't work with this model. Unfortunately, in the beginning it did. Right now it doesn't. So what's going to happen is we also have to, in a sense, work with others. Ninja vs. Shark is a big deal for us because we did not license or produce that film, but we are doing the dub. So us being able to do the dub, working with a Japanese publisher, having them take care of it. They then will release internationally. They have that kind of money and power. and we can just take care of the United States. That's a big thing for us. So that is one of the avenues I see us doing, hopefully more and more in the future. With this one company, we have a long relationship with the publishers there, and we're in good standing, and we're trying to make it as big as we can be. It's a big reason why Anime NJ became Anime NJ. We're promoting things, we're doing things, and working with them. That'll help Media Blasters continue to do stuff and continue to make stuff. We'll also continue with the back catalogs type stuff. Not just our back catalog, other ones, even like, Chew Bras coming, and, I don't like my big, we never release those, but we'll release them, and I think there's a market. It's a little bit sexier, a little bit whatever, but we'll continue to do those, and we'll continue with whatever hentai is left. That's the thing. I don't know how much more is going to be, in the future, but we still have more to go. So I think we'll be okay with that, and we'll continue to do those things. Who knows? Maybe productions, we could work with them in the future if there's enough resources and money to do that. We'll see what happens with that, and hopefully those will work out. But how about, outside anime, John? How about the indie guy? Yes, I do think the only place that's going to be truly independent is going to be YouTube. The YouTube model is okay, but it works more for talking heads. It works for the Joe Rogans. It works for the Ben Shapiros. It works for some of these guys. It does not work for, productions. It just doesn't. There's just not enough money in there. You do it because you love it. You do it for that. The views you're going to get, the pennies and nickels and dimes you're going to get is not going to cover all your time and costs and stuff like that. So as far as the thing is, YouTube will be the talking heads, and it will be more of the shorts. Maybe guys could do shorts and, again, get noticed, get whatever, and then they can make a few bucks at it while they still work 9 to 5 during the week, and hopefully get noticed and could branch out and do other things. I do think, like the music industry, the video industry is going to go through the same thing, meaning that why we did Anime NJ, and we do think that could be something more for the future for us, is basically what happened to the music industry. The music industry, it's no longer about making music. It's, yes, you make music, but you make it because you do the concerts and you do the merchandise and you do all that kind of stuff, or you have your labels. So really, that's where the money is, and that's where these guys can continue to make more music and make, be able to support themselves and a staff and all that. So Anime NJ to me is a natural progression in the sense of that people will still want to go to anime cons. They still want to do that, but they won't want to go and maybe buy a Blu-ray or a DVD. It's just not, why do I do that? And all that kind of stuff. So that's the thing. I do think there's potential there that, we can live off of. And then back to the whole thing, John, you talk about Disney, Netflix, and these guys are going to be the survivors. But then what's going to happen with the, hentai streaming? I really want to see my adult hentai. I don't want to have to go to, Hentai Haven or go to Tube XXXX or some stuff like that. I do think in the future, some company, it's not going to be us because I'm too old and I'm not really into that direction so much, but someone will produce a real legit hentai streaming site that will have all the stuff. It's just more, that's because the business is kind of related to the adult business. It's hard. I don't know if that's going to be something that really is going to be like happen soon or whatever. We were once thinking about doing it. We did our own, the kitty one. Then, Faku bought the kitty brand and logo, and that was one of their ideas. That's what they wanted to do. They did start. The problem with streaming, and that's what's the other thing, why you need to be the talking head, is that what happens is that you need to have a lot of content. You can't just be doing one video every 60 days or every 45 days. And to produce hentai, it's not like, draw quick, boom, and maybe AI will do it one day. But the thing is, right now, it's just not, it's not possible. You're not going to make enough money with the amount of work involved with it. And this kind of stuff, the talking, hey, I could talk forever and we could just, and you could keep watching or not. But that's the real thing. You guys need to understand is just for the model to work, prices will probably have to come up on subscriptions or whatever, or again, the consolidation. And then what's going to happen is less and less content. So you're going to lose selection. To me, if anything that's going to come out of all this is less selection, because eventually the weekend warriors, all these guys who are doing this stuff, you'll have a bit less selection. I don't include TikTok as a real format in terms of just making videos or whatever. You know, if your content, if you're good with 30 seconds and stuff, that's great for you. But as far as, again, longer form content, that kind of thing. And that's why this kind of stuff, the talking head, works for YouTube. Some guys could do pretty well at it. And also, if they're not making enough money through YouTube, because YouTube even has changed a lot, they get to go to shows and they get to do talks and they get, see, again, it's not anymore the content. Which takes me back to my original thing I said in my last video, which was, I thought was really funny one day. A salesperson we had say, listen, John, this is all going to go away. And what it's going to be is when you buy a pizza, you get a DVD for free. And that looks like it may be heading that way. So yeah, next time you get your pizza, make sure you have a DVD. They give it to you for free, by the way. Take care. And that's my Friday thoughts.